Hello everybody, we're here at RemoteCon with yet another very interesting product demo on remote work tools. Here with us we have Forecast, an intelligent professional service platform for improving your company's financial and operational performance. Forecast is a full-suite business platform that enables professional service organizations to run efficiently and predictably by uniting and powering project and resource management, team collaboration, financials, time tracking, and business intelligence, all in one AI-powered software. By using its AI-powered project management software, customers will reduce their administrative tasks by 20 to 40% and gain insights into project risk, resource management, and many more. It was founded in 2016 in Denmark by a team of 4 university colleagues who worked as consultants for many years and grew frustrated by the tedious task of every project, from recording time to updating deliverable timelines and all that. The company believes every day should be filled with less ad hoc and administrative work, and that leaves freedom to focus on evolving, improving, and empowering people to be innovative and creative. For our demo here today, we have Dave Schneider, Marketing Director at Forecast. Hello, Dave. Nice to have you here.
Hi. Thanks for having me. All right. Thanks for that great intro. Let me jump right in.
Yes, please.
So this is Forecast. And right now, we're looking at our project schedule view on a portfolio level. So you can see here all of the projects that are running, completed down here, and in the planning stage at this company. You can drill in and look at any level of detail that you want right from this page. So you can see here the EV Industries project, drill down from milestones, look at tasks, and you can even see all the details for any task right here in one view. All right. You can also look at your people and their resource utilization. So here at the top, you can see this is the full team. You can see the full team's resource utilization rate. This is a really important metric for professional services companies. This is how much of their time is actually being used for productive things. And you can see here that Steve Rogers has quite a bit of time, and actually the whole team, as we look a little bit into the future, starts to have a bit of extra time. So what they'll want to do is run some modeling to see, can we take on another project and still hit all of our deadlines? And the way that they'll do that is by cloning an existing project, what they're considering selling, and then using our auto schedule feature. So here, this is the clone project. It doesn't have any resource assignments. It doesn't have any task completion deadlines, etc. It's basically just a naked clone of the project. Now, we'll open auto schedule. And this is our AI-based scheduling feature, which uses AI to match people with the right tasks. It will estimate the tasks for you, and it learns from your organization. And part of that, you can choose whether you want to have it learn from a pre-existing project, something you've run in the past, but you don't have to do that. So in this case, we're not. There's also lots of other settings that you can use to dial this in and get it exactly the way you want it. But again, you don't have to, so we're not going to for this demo. Now, if you were actually scheduling a project that's going to be delivered to a customer, you typically have hard set delivery dates. And so then you would want to keep those milestones set and solid. But since we're modeling out potential projects, we're going to let auto schedule do it for us. If we wanted to, we could actually determine that some of these can be moved and others aren't. But again, we want to run them all. And just like that, auto schedule took a scoped project and turned it into an actual project plan. So here you can see there are people assigned to each task. You can move things around if you need to and update that as necessary, but you don't have to. And we can see here, this is all of our resource assignments in a heat map. So we probably, if we're going to sell this project, need to move a couple things around here, but we overall should be able to hit this. And that means that selling this project is a green light. So if we want to look at how much money then do we think we could make, we'll jump into the budget section. And this is the predicted budget and all financials for this project that we think that we can pull off selling. So here you can see it's a fixed price project and all the details there. There's no actuals, and that's because this project isn't running yet. But as the project runs and people enter their timesheets and things are updated, all of these numbers get ticked off automatically in real time. So at any point in time, you can see up to the minute information about how your projects and financials are progressing. So for example, this is a project that's running right now. And you can see here the actual versus the planned, along with the actual billability. So these are critical numbers, as anybody who works in finances in a project-based company can tell you. Okay. Then once you set that project to running, all of the tasks and milestones and everything automatically get translated into their assigned roles and the people you've assigned them to. So here you can see, this is what an individual project member will see when they log in. It's one page that gives them all the information they need to answer the critical question of, what should I do today? So here are the tasks for the week, and they can dive right in and get all the relevant information here in one place. They don't have to jump around between tools. They have notes. You can see files attached. And if they need to update things or communicate here, you can do all the collaboration right in here in one screen. You can also register your time here. It keeps everything just smooth and simple. And if people don't want to work in Forecast, maybe your team already has a tool that you love, and you're not going to convince your whole team to jump out of Jira or maybe Azure DevOps. You don't have to. So our tool has deep integrations with your favorite tools here, and you can sync them seamlessly. So your team works in Jira or in Azure DevOps, etc., and you'll see things just get updated in Forecast. Then you can put in your timesheets here. So this is the team timesheet. And what you can do here is you can see how your team are spending their time, whether it's being registered or not. This is housekeeping items. And in this example, so Bruce Wayne is a little bit behind in his timesheet registration. You can give him a nudge with just a click, and it'll shoot him an email saying, hey, Bruce, can you please put in your timesheets? And we've all been Bruce. That's not to rag on him. Putting in your timesheet is some of the least fun you can have in a professional services company, right? Nobody likes doing that. And that's why Forecast makes it easier than anybody else to do that. We make it super quick. Our AI will help you fill out your timesheet. So here in this period, you can see this is what our AI knows that Bruce was working on in that time. So here are his registrations. You can either add time registrations to these tasks right here and now. You can see this one is locked, and that's because that time period has already been invoiced. So that one's set in stone, and it just helps people keep everything in line. If Bruce needs to add a task that's not there, he can do that really quickly. So I've got one filled already, but we'll just remove that or change it. So here, he chooses the task. And again, our AI will make recommendations. These are personalized recommendations to Bruce. So our AI will learn how fast Bruce works on these types of tasks, and it'll make customized recommendations to help him fill them out. And the more you use it, the more accurate it gets, and the less you have to use it. Then when your timesheets are all filled out and everything's looking right, you can use one of our pre-made reports, or we have customizable reports, and you can keep all of your shareholders or your stakeholders in the loop with simple sharing features. So I hope that this makes it really clear how much faster and easier it is to manage your projects and teams remotely in Forecast from top to bottom. And if you'd like to try out Forecast, head to our website and get a free trial at forecast.app/RemoteCon.
Thank you very much, Dave, for the presentation. It's actually very interesting. I'm a bit curious with the AI behind all this. First of all, for example, you said about Bruce. Do you have some sort of, and that it identifies the time that Bruce has for one activity or another? Do you have some sort of other time tracking or input system that works for that? Or how does it work? You actually have to input the data by hand.
So yeah, Bruce, we don't track your screen. We've
Okay.
looked into some of those things. There are tools that you can get there that you install in your computer and they watch what you do. People don't like that. So you can set a timer. If this is on the task level, I can show you that. Okay. So you can enter your time right here on the task. This is how most people do that. You do just manually enter it. You can enter it either there or on the timesheet. The AI will make suggestions. You can also set a timer here. So when Bruce knows that he's going to work on this task, he picks it from the list under my work, and he can just set a timer. And then when he comes back, he can turn it off. He doesn't have to remember exactly. It keeps it a little bit easier, but it still gives them the privacy of not installing what I would argue is essentially spyware on your computer.
And what about the AI for the whole planning of the projects? How accurate is that from the experience that you've had with your clients? How does that work?
Yeah, so that is, it learns from your actual data. So the better you are at putting in clean data, the better it's going to be and the better it's going to perform for you. So if you run your projects in a structured and reasonable manner, it's going to get pretty accurate pretty quickly. From what we've seen, it is more accurate than the vast majority of human estimations. So people tend to make their estimates based on optimism and maybe hopes of how fast they'll work. But I think it's really well documented that people are terrible estimators. And so our algorithms, they only train based on your actuals. And so they never take into account flawed human expectations. And that's why they end up being so much more accurate.
So we should expect that by using forecast, after a couple of months, we, let's say, reduce the time that we actually have with inputting data, and forecast is going to do that job for us.
Yes, forecast will significantly lighten your load there. So we have customers who tell us that they spend approximately 50% less time on all the work about work, or the admin stuff, after just a few months of using forecast.
Speaking of clients, what's the average type of client that usually uses forecast?
So primarily it's professional services, but we also do a lot of work with software development companies. Professional services being marketing and advertising, consulting, etc. You'll see those companies in our user base. Generally, I would say anyone who sells their time, they're a good fit.
And what type of team sizes would be most appropriate for that? I saw there are some quite complex charts and all that.
Yeah. So this is a tool that I think is going to solve the most pain for teams that are at least 10 people. Once you get above that 10-person threshold, managing all this data in a spreadsheet or across multiple solutions, it just seems to be about the breaking point. So that's the point where people really can't keep up and they start to feel this pain a lot more. And I guess that could be dependent on the organization, maybe slightly smaller, but by around 10 and certainly by 20, you're going to feel that pain.
And can you tell us a bit more about the pricing as well? What should we expect from this point of view?
Yeah, so our plans begin at $29 per user per month, and that's on an annual contract. And then they go up to $49 for the Pro plan. And then our Enterprise plan is custom designed for your needs. And so that depends on what you need.
But that basically means your starting point is around $2,000 for like a team of 10.
Yep.
Does that justify?
In US dollars, yeah.
Does that, like from experience of the clients, does that justify for the actual input of the platform?
Yeah. So again, for the teams that are approximately 10 or up, that's when they really start to feel the savings. So we've talked with clients who had multiple people whose full-time job was just copying and pasting data into spreadsheets, trying to keep everything up to date, right? And so they were able to move those two people into things that are actually fun to do and the stuff that they signed up for working with that company. And then they made savings of 2 full people's annual salaries just by implementing this. So for those types of companies, this is going to be a no-brainer from a cost perspective.
And just as a closing question, how do you see this remote work evolving, and what do you think what's the role your company will play in it?
That's a good question. So I think working remotely is absolutely the future. I think recently, tons of companies have obviously been forced to jump into that with both feet. Companies that never really thought that they would be the type of business that would be remote. And nothing broke, nothing exploded, and the savings are huge, right? So I think it's inevitable that the future is remote. What we see ourselves as being in that story is we help people manage and organize the work from afar. So there's a lot of that organization that is, people are used to doing that face-to-face, right? They have team sync-up meetings and they talk about what they're going to do, and we make all of that automated. So when you can't do it, it doesn't matter because you don't even need to. We were talking with customers recently about, I shudder to mention it because it's all over everywhere, everybody's talking about COVID, but how has COVID affected them? And how do they use forecasts in light of that? And one of them, he was saying, for us, it's business as usual. Things haven't changed because we're already not having those sync-up meetings, right? And so we help people keep track of what's going on without status updates, without face-to-face meetings if you don't want or need them. And you'll have control and visibility into what's going on to make sure that people are only doing things that provide value in a way that's fair and balanced and enjoyable. Nobody likes doing work about work.
Thank you very much, Dave. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
So whether it's designing, structuring, acting, or simply steering the company in the right direction, Forecast has your back. Tune into RemoteCon to find out more about their app, and join us for more information on remote work tools. Thank you.